So, Coach, obviously your team looks a lot different than it did the last time that we sat here and talked to you. What are can you just talk about some of the challenges you guys have faced over the past week and how you continue to work through those challenges with all the injuries you guys have suffered?
Well, we do look much different than we did a week ago, without a doubt. That is we're not one to dodge what's going on and act like it didn't, or just pretend like everything's perfect. There are some challenges that are in front of us right now, and I will say in a lot of years of coaching, you do come across different situations that are more challenging than others, and certainly injuries are a part of the game. I mean, it's not uncommon to have one or two players go down from time to time. I certainly haven't, in however many years of 20+ years of coaching, I've never had two captains go down in 30 minutes. And so that was a very different experience for our team, just emotionally as much as anything. I mean, it's hard when you see your best player go down, and in what appears to be a significant injury, it is hard just from the volleyball side. Okay, how do we recover from this? What are we going to be like? But then losing the second one on Tuesday night, I think that was a real challenge. Just who are we now? How do we communicate? How do we motivate? All those things that need to happen from a leadership standpoint. Jamie and Katie were off to a good start as captains of this team, and then when they're taken away, of course, it's just challenging on many levels for our team. I really think our team battled. I think it really, when we started our tournament, I think that was when I really saw the crisis of belief of just, are we okay? Are we going to be good this year? And I don't know that many of our players believed that we would when we started the tournament, and that's okay. That's part of going through this process. And so we came out in our first match Friday morning and played Georgia, and we were very poor. And the effort was poor. There was a lot of questioning going on out there. You could tell just by the way that people were interacting with each other. And that was just a very poor performance on our parts. And going to the next match, Oklahoma kind of started the same way. The first two matches, we were not really making defensive plays, not playing at a high level of intensity or effort. And then at some point that changed, and had a really good comeback win against Oklahoma. And then, and I think that carried through to High Point, even though we were down yet another player with Carly getting hurt against Oklahoma. We were able to then come out against a good High Point team that had already swept Oklahoma and had beaten Georgia pretty convincingly, I guess you could say. We were able to go out and play a really good match with them. Steph playing on the outside for her first time since she was, I believe, a sophomore in high school. And so it's been, in as much of there have been truly many challenges, there have been exactly that same number of opportunities that have moved forward. And there are some people that are able to step up now in bigger roles than what they had before. And so it's been great to see Allison go from a serving sub to now she's playing 3 rotations on defense, and she may have been our best player in our last match against High Point. She had 20 digs playing 3 rotations. That's pretty incredible. She had a number of just amazing plays back there, served. It seems like every match there's one kid that has to be the kid that every time we get 24 points, it's their turn to serve, you know? And we were at 13 points in the 5th. She's serving, and she served good ball after good ball. And so Steph going in and playing outside, thought she handled herself well. And so there are challenges, without a doubt. We're not going to act like this season is going to be easier now. It's not. This season will be harder. But there are people that are stepping up in those moments and filling those roles. And I really thought the way we fought Friday evening and then Saturday, those are matches that I was proud of as a coach. I was proud of our team and how hard we played. And I believe all the people here watching the match felt the same.
Do you have any update for us on Katie or Carly and what their status is going to be moving forward?
Carly, I would say, is day-to-day. It's an ankle sprain. I think when it happened, of course, we had it was just one of those just kind of crazy, I don't know if you want to call it, just things balancing themselves out. But the first 20 years of my coaching career, I had a total of 2 kids that did their ACL. And then in the span of 8 months, we have an incoming recruit that was projected as a starter that did hers. And then Simone, who was projected as a starter, did hers in spring ball. And then Jamie, who's trying to be Conference Player of the Year, did hers. So it's just such an interesting and challenging thing for our kids to see, like, wow, we feel like something's wrong. What's going on here, you know? And so when Carly goes down, I'm right there and help her get up with our trainer, and we walk her off the court, and I can see all of our players are kind of in a circle, and they're looking like, you know. And so I said out loud, guys, it's an ankle, guys, it's an ankle. And you can tell the whole room is like, oh, okay, we're okay. They just thought, oh, here we go again, you know. And so it's ankle. It'll be day to day, but she'll be back soon. With Katie, we'll see, you know, how that progresses. You never know when different injuries just take different amounts of time, and so we'll just wait and see and hope to get her back as soon as possible.
I know you said that you're not going to try to ignore the fact that you've had kind of these rash of injuries,
right.
But how do you as a coach keep that from becoming an excuse for your team just because, you know, the season's going to keep rolling on and your opposition's not going to care that you're
right.
beat up?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I said the same thing to our team. I said that our opponents don't care that we're hurt. In fact, some of them, if they're being really honest, are glad because now your opponent is lessened. And that's okay. That's being competitive. I'm not insulted by that in any way. That's just respecting your opponent. And so I just told our team, look, it's going to be harder. You know, our potential, yes, we're lower. You don't replace, or you don't lose this many starters. You know, we're now down, well, currently 4 projected starters, also known as 2/3 of your team. Okay, but we have a chance to be a very good team. It's just going to have to take a lot of hard work. And again, I go into that Saturday match. It was a team that Friday morning didn't look like we had a lot of interest in playing defense. Saturday had 98 digs in a match, 15 blocks. We had 6 aces. The previous night we had 9. You know, we're going to have to find some other places to get some points. We're going to have to prolong some rallies. People are going to have to play harder. And then when we get those short rallies, we'll certainly enjoy those. But we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. You know, in fact, I would say today is probably the last day we'll really spend much time talking about it. And just beyond that, this is our team. And whoever's healthy, that's who we're going to play, and we're going to play hard. And we're going to represent our fans well. We're going to represent our school well. And if we do that, then we're going to be proud. And that's what I tell our team all the time. I grade our team on our potential. And if we play at, you know, an A or an A+ level of our potential, I'm happy, win or lose. And if we win, we play at a C- level, I'm not happy, regardless of the fact that we won that day. And so if we're doing that, I really believe we'll be a good team. We'll be in a place that later in the year, we'll work towards getting in the conference tournament like we do every year. And then once we get in, then we'll work towards peaking at the right time so that we can win it. And I do think we have enough team, we have enough players, we have enough skill, we have enough athletic ability to do that. It's just going to be harder, and we're all willing to put in the work.
Talking about kind of people putting in the work, how is Steph dealing with the transition from setter to outside hitter? I think that's probably harder than most people would believe. You know?
Yeah, it is. It's such a different role. You know, when you go from trying to make everyone else look good, try to put them in good positions, to all of a sudden, okay, I'm the terminal attacker. I'm the one who has to win the points. So I think she's enjoying it. When I was watching her face as she was going through it, she seemed to really be enjoying it when she got out there and competed. And so she has to learn some of those things. It's just different, and it's not just the hitting piece. All your movements are in reverse now. Like she's used to blocking on the right, where you start here and you swing block going to your right. You never swing block to your left when you're a setter, and I'll say never, hardly ever. There's a very rare situation you might. But now she swing blocks to her left every time. And oh yeah, it's against a faster set because now it's a slide. And you're no longer blocking a person that's coming at you. Now you're blocking a person that's running parallel to the net, running a slide. There's just so many things that change. But I think she's off to a great start. She's always had a good arm. And that's what a lot of people outside of our gym don't know, is we'll do drills and we'll do attacking drills. And as a setter, some days she wins those because she brings so much heat with her arm. And so I'm sure it surprised a lot of our fans to see a setter go up there and like, wow, she's really just blasting the ball. We knew she could do that. Now it's about just learning angles. Can she get inside a ball and, you know, cut it off and drop her thumb and get into some different seams? But she's plenty athletic enough to do it and has plenty enough arm. And so we're looking forward to see how she develops.
Coach, before we move on and talk about Marshall and everything else, I think I want to bring up, has there been a conversation yet with you and Jamie and the assistant coaches? Can she redshirt? Is that on the table since she only played 4 matches?
We are happy to officially say she is redshirting. That decision was made at some point this weekend. We all sat down with Jamie and with her parents and myself and had that discussion. And we told Jamie in the beginning, look, this is your choice, and we will support you either way. But we'd really like you to come back, just to be very clear. A player of that caliber. So yes, we anticipate her coming back, and we anticipate her coming back stronger than ever.
what are some things that we as a group might not know about the Marshall volleyball team?
They have the potential to be very good. They went 5 with Missouri. They were competitive with Michigan State. They're a really athletic team, and so they have the ability to score from a number of positions. They generally run a 6-2, and so you have 6 attackers instead of 5 that you have to prepare for. Very athletic group. They have a number of kids that play some different positions, so it's not maybe as traditional as middles only play middle. They have different kids that will play some in the left, some in the middle, some on the right. They do some different things that are pretty creative. I think they're a well-coached team, and I think they play hard. And so we're looking forward to a good match against a really good team. We know we're going to have to play at a high level to be able to earn the win tomorrow.
And now that you're a few days away from that Friday night match, what are your thoughts on Tia Jamerson and how much she grew in that match?
She's been growing quickly, and I think one of the things that, due to the injuries, the 2 kids that we had projected as starting middles this year are out for the year with ACLs, and so she was going to redshirt. And then we asked her if she would be open to going ahead and playing this year. And being a competitive person, of course, she was very excited about that opportunity. And so it's pretty amazing to me. This is a kid that 3 months ago is at home, getting ready to redshirt, just, kind of hanging out, getting ready to go to college and learn how to lift weights and learn how to block. She's never been a swing blocker, etc. And then she gets here, and then we start having the discussion, and she's excited about that, so she becomes an eligible player. Then she becomes a starter, and she's our M2, okay, with Katie being our M1. And so then Katie goes out, and we're like, oh, and by the way, Simone, by the way, Tia, you are now going to be our M1. And Simone is Simone's her big sister in our program, so she's kind of a big part of just helping her grow and learn. And then Jamie goes out. And so there's another step that I have to bring her in and say, all right, I know we've gone from redshirting to M2 to M1, and now we just lost our primary point scorer. And so now we're going to ask you to do a lot more on offense than we probably envisioned you needing to do right away. And with every one of those steps, she's really embraced that, embraced the challenge. And I think as much as I enjoyed seeing several of her matches this year, I loved it last match because we finally increased her volume. We played a 5-game match against High Point, and she got 41 swings. And when you're getting your middle close to 10 swings per set, that's really good. And we love doing that. And of course, she's hitting at an unbelievable percentage. I mean, she's hitting close to 500, probably 480, 490, I don't know exactly right now. And she's been able to do that. She's been able to do that against high-level opponents and against some opponents that maybe weren't as big or as athletic on the front row. And that's been good just to see her grow, in that way. She has a great deal to learn just about spacing and how to work in transition and defense and those things, but her athletic ability is kind of carrying her while she's learning. But truly, if she puts the work in, she has a chance to be a special player here.
Coach, you went back-to-back 5-set matches, and then now you got to come back and play right on the Tuesday. Is there a sense of any sort of fatigue at all with the team, or is it just kind of, let's just keep going?
I think if we were playing, let's say if we had a match Friday and a match Saturday, they were both 5-set matches, then we had to play Sunday, I would say, okay, there's a little concern for that. But no, we got done Saturday, we got done playing at, 4 o'clock, 4:30, somewhere in there, and we didn't touch a ball again until this morning, and we didn't start practice since there's no class today. We got started a little later. We didn't start practice till 10 o'clock, and so they had, would that be a little over 40 hours of rest there, and then we'll have, again, more than 24 hours, 30 hours or so until we compete tomorrow night. And so no, I'm glad we played long, tough matches because that's where you grow. You just go out and you just dominate someone, or reverse, if you get beat really quickly, you don't really grow in those moments. So I was glad to see us compete well. I think at the end of the second 5th set match, I don't think it was a fatigue issue at all. I think mentally we maybe missed some opportunities to be really aggressive in a couple of moments, but I thought we handled ourselves well, particularly being a young team in 2 long matches.
Just real quick, back to Tia. Have you ever coached a girl with that much energy and excitement to get out there and play? Because a lot of times when she would score with a big swing and all that emotion that she shows, and with the the pointer finger waving
Right.
back and forth, kind of the stare downs with the opposition on the
Right.
other side of the net. Have you coached a player with that much enthusiasm before?
I have. I've had a few, and they are. What's great is what they do in raising the energy of the entire team, and even going there, I asked her during the break. I said, "Tia, are you old enough to even know who Dikembe Mutombo is?" And she's like, "Yeah, my dad told me about it, and then I should probably do it." So it was kind of funny, but I love that. I mean, you can't do it in a way that's not sporting. You don't want to have poor sportsmanship and do it towards your opponent, get a yellow card or anything like that. That would hurt your team. But in those moments when you have a player that has a chance to have that level of success on the court, and then is willing to just raise the entire level of everyone around them by being big in those moments, I enjoy that. And I told her, I said, keep doing that. Absolutely, enjoy yourself out there. This is not a sport where it's like, the most awesome play ever, and that's not us. I mean, this is volleyball. You should enjoy that, and she does. And so we love that about her, and the ref make sure we encourage her. Look, turn, get away from not at the other side. Turn, get this way. So we're not getting yellow cards, but enjoy it. And truly, it is fun to watch a kid just grow in these moments. And she is. If I had to say the one thing that we didn't know about Tia before she got here, she's a much better learner than we knew. She hadn't played like 6 years of open ball, like a lot of these kids. And so she had so much to learn, and she's learning very, very rapidly. And so we're really pleased with that, and we love all the other stuff that goes with it all, that just, if you want to call it swagger, whatever you want to call it, just that intensity of the moment. We love that. And like I said, I've had some other kids across the years that kind of had that feeling. And it's amazing, not just what it does for that kid individually, but what it does for the whole team when those kids find success.
We haven't mentioned Macy and Meredith and how big they were defensively.
Right.
You already mentioned Allison, but to have Macy and Meredith in the back row like that, how big were they as vacuums, just sucking up every shot that I Point gave them?
Yeah, I think Mare, she's that hustle kid. I mean, how many times this weekend did we see her make a play that we're like, oh, the play's over, and all of a sudden she flies through, makes a play, and my back's to the crowd, so I'm not seeing faces. But every time she makes a play like that, you can just hear it. The whole crowd's like, wow! I mean, it's just the whole room. It just reacts instantaneously when she does that, and it's just great. What that does for your teammates too, because you can't give anything less than 100% effort when she's playing that hard, or you look foolish. I mean, it's just, you have to play hard when you play next to somebody like that. And so what she gives to our team is pretty amazing. I think she is someone also that I thought really grew as a server this weekend. Maybe it goes a little unnoticed, but there were several times during late in matches, including in fifth sets, that she was a kid back there serving a couple or 3 points in a row. And she struggled the first weekend just finding the correct hand angle and was serving some balls in the net and stuff like that. And I could tell she was just growing so much, and I could tell she was in such a good place that I looked back there as a coach, and I immediately just, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, she has this, we're good. Whereas the first weekend, she was still a little tentative, trying to figure some things out, that maybe I would have hoped that we were good, but I wouldn't have known that we were good. And every time I look back, I'm like, oh, we're good. And I look back to the side and got ready to watch what we were trying to watch. I think for Macy, she, in our last 2 matches, for the first time this year, played truly as a bro. And I think that's been what we've been kind of waiting to see. One of the things that we grade and we evaluate is what are our players' stats during, quote, crunch time. In basketball, it's usually a certain amount of time on the clock. For us, it's after a certain point. And so we looked at her stats after, I don't remember which fifth set match it was we looked at, but after point 20, or 20 and later in every set, and then after point 10 in the fifth set, she was passing, we use a 4-point scale, at a 3.5, which is almost perfect. And she's just a kid that just, when it gets big, totally calm. And it was good to see her grow up a lot this weekend. I think that was, well, I know for sure that was the best that she has played, and the most just calm, consistent, which is what you need. I mean, you need, as a defense, you need to know if that kid gets the ball, we're going to score. And I thought she really did that for a good part of the weekend.